like she's relaxing in a lawn chair with a good book. But authorities say she actually just torched her own home, then sat in the chair to watch it go up in flames. The shocking video starts with the woman having an argument on her front porch.
Oh my God, he just threw water at her.
Then another argument with another resident. Next thing you know, the house they all live in is on fire. And there's the accused arsonist relaxing in the lawn chair.
She's sitting there just chilling, watching the house go up in flames.
The fire quickly consumes the house in Elkton, Maryland.
Get out of the house! It's on fire!
A bystander runs to help a resident as she climbs out a window.
Hurry!
Fire crews rush to the scene.
That whole roof just fell.
Avery Hammond shot the video.
I couldn't believe that she was just sitting there like it wasn't happening.
She casually went out there, sat in a chair, stated a few obscenities, and watched the fire spread throughout the house.
47-year-old Gail Metwally was taken into custody. She reportedly has mental health issues.
She's sitting there just chilling, watching the house go up in flames.
Count them, roughly 65. That's how many Stanley cups cops say were stuffed in the trunk, and even some more in the front passenger seat. Most of them, investigators say, were stolen from a Dick's Sporting Goods store in Roseville, California, outside of Sacramento.
So we have these at Dick's Sporting Goods, and they have some wonderful benefits and features.
The 40-ounce quencher, which retails for $45, of course, has been in high demand and have been hard to come by as they've been selling out. A quick search of Dick's Sporting Goods website, a few various colors are available, but how so many of them were even on store shelves in this theft case is anyone's guess. Police aren't sure, and Dick's Sporting Goods did not return our request for comment. According to law enforcement, an employee saw a woman take a shopping cart full of Stanley water bottles without paying for them and then stuff her car with them. Officers were alerted, and the suspect was pulled over as she was getting on the highway. They value these goods at about $2,500. $300,000 worth of stolen Legos have been recovered. Take a look at the goods, from Star Wars to Lord of the Rings themed merchandise. This was the collection California Highway Patrol say they discovered during its investigation into organized retail theft. A few months ago, in an unrelated case, police in Upland, California say this shirtless 22-year-old allegedly took off with $1,700 worth of toys from the store. Lego larceny has been an ongoing issue across the country. Some limited edition Legos, like Luke Skywalker's land speeder, can cost $239. This Millennium Falcon set is $160. A possible motive? Their resale value. Items are being stolen from stores and then resold to unsuspecting buyers on online marketplaces. Here's Stephen Fabian.
How bad is the problem? This Las Vegas store, Bricks and Minifigs, opened a year ago and already has been hit 4 times by robbers seeking Lego sets. In this instance, you see a man reaching for Legos on the top shelf, where the most expensive ones are on display. Keep an eye on this suspect. He's carrying 2 Lego sets, then grabs another and hightails it out of the store. And in this surveillance tape, 2 guys meander around the store. After a few minutes, they make a break for it, each with an armful of Legos.
They ran out with about, I would say, $1,800 worth of product, probably close to $2,000.
Store owner Edgar Garcia showed us one of the things that makes his store unique, but also vulnerable: shelves of Star Wars Legos.
This is where we have some of our most expensive Star Wars sets, some of our most collectible ones, and unfortunately it's also where our latest thieves stole from.
As for the $300,000 case, 4 suspects were arrested and booked on charges related to organized retail theft, grand theft, and conspiracy to commit a crime.
It all started with an online post that some people at eBay thought was harsh. It ended with 6 eBay employees facing charges of...
Were this woman and her husband the victims of a shocking campaign of terror by eBay employees?
This case definitely is baffling.
Ina Steiner and her husband David were sent a box of live cockroaches and spiders, as well as this book, Surviving Loss of a Spouse, and this Halloween pig mask, say federal prosecutors.
Pizza delivery for Hitler. Histler.
The scheme was allegedly inspired by the 80s teen movie Johnny Be Good, in which two knuckleheads harassed their football coach with off-the-wall deliveries.
No, it's for nobody. Get out of here now.
Prosecutors say the eBay employees all worked for the company's security and global intelligence team. It's being called one of the strangest corporate scandal cases in recent memory.
Definitely one of the most bizarre cases I've heard of in the business and corporate world, not just recently, but really in history. I mean, how many times have you heard about intimidation with live spiders and live cockroaches?
So why were the Steiners targeted? Authorities say they published an online e-commerce newsletter and ran articles and anonymous commentary that were critical of eBay. The 6 eBay employees have been charged with cyber stalking.
You can imagine that a Fortune 500 company that should have higher standards, corporate standards, and set themselves at a higher bar, their brand might be tarnished.
eBay says in a statement, eBay does not tolerate this kind of behavior. eBay apologizes to the affected individuals and is sorry that they were subjected to this. eBay terminated all involved employees.
5 men have been convicted of stealing jewelry containing over 4,300 diamonds in Germany. Security footage showed masked people breaking into the Green Vault Museum inside Dresden Castle in November of 2019. Glass was shattered and the thieves made off with 21 pieces of 18th century jewelry and artifacts. A sword measuring 38 inches long and covered in 800 diamonds was among the looted items. Overall, the haul was valued at about $123 million. The group of 5 men, who are all members of the same family, were caught in Berlin, about 120 miles away. It took several months for authorities to arrest the people responsible for both the robbery and the deliberately set fires that cut power to streetlights the night of the crime. According to the judge in this case, the thieves were able to cut a plea deal because most of the artifacts were returned. They'll each serve 6 years behind bars. But not all of the antique jewelry has been found, and some fear the stones have been removed and the gold and platinum melted down, never to be seen again.
A Florida man allegedly has a taste for rare and expensive things, and cops say he didn't pay for them. St. Petersburg police arrested a man who they say was in possession of 2 stolen Galapagos tortoises, as well as rare books. Authorities say the animals were taken from the St. Augustine Alligator Farm Zoological Park in November. Cops say when the turtles found at the home were scanned for chips, they were identified as the ones that went missing. Police also say the suspect had an outstanding warrant for a commercial burglary where thousands of dollars of rare comic books were stolen. Unfortunately, cops say one of the turtles was found dead in a freezer, but the other was alive and found in the suspect's yard. Properly cared for, Galapagos tortoises can live to well over 100 years. But they are endangered, and these had an estimated value of $10,000 each.
It's called Operation Viper. After several years undercover, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission Division of Law Enforcement charged 8 people with trafficking venomous and illegal snakes.
So it took an extensive team over 2 years to really get the information that needed to prosecute these individuals. This case was unlike any other, normal with fish or meat. You just have to deal with the nefarious actors. This case, they had to beware of the actors and as well as the product that they were selling or buying, very dangerous reptiles.
According to authorities, almost 200 snakes, 20 different species from 7 regions of the world, were purchased or sold to and from wildlife traffickers during Operation Viper.
Countless cobras, gaboon vipers, bushmaster snakes, inland taipans from Australia, many extremely dangerous snakes.
Officials say deals began on the black market using special websites and social media pages, and they transitioned into in-person meetings. Olin says the team trained hard to pull this off.
There's a lot of additional training. A lot of them were already capable of handling venomous reptiles, but we went above and beyond and gave them extensive training on handling some of these snakes.
The reptiles are a massive threat to native wildlife in Florida.
These rules are in place for public safety and also to protect Florida's ecosystems. A lot of these animals could really the injurious to people, but also they're imported from all over the world, and they bring disease with them and could affect our natural habitat.
In addition to the alleged crimes with the animals, FWC investigators say they documented other non-wildlife crimes, and there still could be more arrests.
The investigation is not over today. This was just the first phase. We are going to continue to investigate other nefarious actors in the trafficking of these venomous reptiles.
It is estimated that illicit wildlife trafficking makes $7.8 billion to $10 billion per year, according to the Wildlife Conservation Society.
Trafficking is an extensive problem globally, and especially in the state of Florida.
Here's a tall tale from Illinois. Cops in Quincy say someone broke into a laundromat after hours and robbed the place wearing a bunny costume. It could be a sign that the suspect was out of clean clothes and had to wear an old Halloween costume to leave the house in decency. Even investigators couldn't believe what they were watching on surveillance video of the incident. Writing on Facebook, file this one under "You can't make this stuff up." The suspect spent just over a minute inside the business grabbing whatever they could get their paws on and then making a getaway. Now cops want the public's help in identifying and apprehending what they are calling a furry felon.
You have never seen a porch pirate like this. Watch as this garbage bag shuffles up to the front door. All you can see are fuzzy slippers. The knucklehead grabs the small package and scurries off. The homeowner in Sacramento tells Inside Edition that at first he thought it was a prank, but it was all real. And speaking of porch pirates, clear across the USA in Queens, New York, another porch pirate suspect walks up to a house and definitely got more than he bargained for. Watch as he casually grabs a package off the stoop and stuffs it in his backpack. But he never expected this.
Yo.
The homeowner comes after him with a bat.
What you got in there?
Nothing, man.
What you got in that bag?
Yo, this is my stuff. Yo, you can have everything, bro. Yo, I live right there, bro.
Get on your knees. Get on your knees
Yo,
right now.
I live in the
I spoke to homeowner Carlos Mejia today.
What led you to pulling out a bat on a porch pirate? I mean, what brought you to that point?
Got tired. Just tired of people taking my stuff. Like, it's not the first package. I was nice this time, but I won't be nice the second time.
I live in the
This woman is walking out of her house. Just an ordinary day. Suddenly, she screams. What's that sound? Oh no, it's a gaggle of geese, and they're coming for her.
This is not the smartest criminal in the world. He was caught on camera with a cardboard box over his head while allegedly stealing phones from a store in Florida. But at one point, he lifted up the box, giving cops a clear view of his face. He was arrested a short time later at a nearby liquor store.
Owners of this store in England let an attempted robber go free. Surveillance video caught what looked like a customer browsing through the Phone Market, a cell phone store in West Yorkshire, UK. After getting 2 phones in his hand to compare, the hooded man makes a run for the door, only to find out that it's locked from the inside. The would-be thief brings the phones back to the counter and makes his excuses. The 2 men behind the counter remain calm. But they didn't. The shop owner, Afzal Adam, not only let the suspect go, he posted the video to Twitter asking the almost robber to come back. He wrote, "The times are difficult for many of us at the moment, so if you are struggling to put food on the table, please come visit us in the store to see how we can help." Adam credits his Muslim faith with teaching him to be merciful and forgiving.
How creepy is this? A surveillance camera catches a man crawling around an attic. Down below, this family's bedroom, where this couple sleeps. Next to the bed, their 10-month-old baby girl's crib.
For all these years, we have no idea what's been going on inside our own home.
Jerome Kennedy and Ashley live with their baby Reagan in an historic home in Pittsburgh. The row house next door being renovated is owned by 69-year-old Robert Havrilla.
He's very reclusive. He keeps to himself.
Last month, Jerome was in bed when he heard noises in the attic.
I knew that somebody was up there.
Then he says he noticed a light shining through a pipe.
Then I saw the light right through there, like it was searching for a place to look through.
Jerome decided to install a surveillance camera in his attic.
That's him right there.
A day later, caught on tape, was his neighbor carrying a power drill.
I think that he was looking into the bedroom.
Jerome discovered his
Right
neighbor
here.
had made a removable wall to gain access to their attic.
There was originally a wall here that he had removed.
And it wasn't just the attic. Jerome also found holes in a common wall. He quickly plugged them up with tissue paper.
You can see those holes. They look perfectly round.
The couple's attorney, Jack Goodrich.
It's that scary to think that somebody would be that intrusive into somebody's home. In my humble opinion, he was waiting for the creep show.
Cops were called and Robert Havrilla was charged with stalking and trespassing. He's pled not guilty.
I think he should go away for a long, long time.
So that we can sleep soundly at night.
This guy sure looks like he's selling candy door to door, but something sinister is about to take place. Watch what happens when the homeowner in Stockton, California opens the door to buy a box of candy. Out of nowhere, 3 guys burst into the house. It's a home invasion. You can hear the woman screaming in terror. The Candyman takes off. Earlier that day, a neighbor's security camera caught Candyman trying to pull the same stunt, but this time the homeowner refused to open the door. He spoke to Inside Edition in a mask to protect his identity.
He was very fidgety. He kept looking over his shoulder. He was kind of like, rocking left and right, like he was just like very anxious or nervous about something.
Candyman leaves and heads across the street. Was he on the lookout for his next victim? And this is another terrifying home invasion. It happened in Oklahoma. The homeowner answers the door. Then suddenly he's trying to push it shut, but he's overpowered by 2 men posing as maintenance workers. One has a gun, the other a taser.
They pointed the firearm at the victim there in the living room, made him lie down.
There's a tussle. You can see the taser go off. They finally leave, getting away with his phone and keys.
Make yourself at home, why don't you? This is the hard-to-believe moment a total stranger breaks into a house in Portland. The woman makes her way to the boy's bedroom and climbs up, then proceeds to lie down and take a nap next to that pile of clothes. The family's 2 dogs go nuts, but the intruder doesn't seem to mind at all. Now watch what happens when the homeowner realizes something is wrong.
Oh my God, Justin.
At first she thinks, must be her husband. Then it hits her. She raises the alarm with a friend she's on the phone with. Goldilocks isn't happy her beauty sleep has been disturbed. She picks up an ottoman and throws it at the mom. Then she takes off with one of the not-so-great guard dogs at her heels.
I saw a dirty foot sticking out of the top of the bed.
Homeowner Kelsey Smith tells me she had left the front door unlocked because contractors were coming and going.
You must have been freaking out.
It was more confusion, honestly, at first, and then she charged at me. It's not a good feeling.
The DA declined to press charges against the intruder.
Who's that at the door? Coke, is it? The pause that refreshes and allegedly robs a restaurant. A man wearing a Coke bottle costume used a gun in the crime, police say. The felonious refreshment made off with $500, they add. Maybe the crook should take a lesson from other Coke bottles and learn to get along.
I like to teach the world to sing. Sing with me.
Cops in this Kentucky town urge anyone with information about the real thing to come forward so they can put the Coke side of life behind bars.
State troopers in Vermont say when they tried to arrest a man, his dad tried to attack them with an excavator machine. The state police say 2 troopers went to arrest 24-year-old Brandon Tallman after he allegedly had an altercation with his neighbor. But as they attempted to handcuff Tallman, the troopers say his mother tried to stop them. And then his father maneuvered his excavator's bucket near the troopers and their vehicles, causing them to retreat.
For all available units, I've got 343 and 254 in a 10-10.
Now the whole family faces charges in connection with the incident. Brandon Tallman has pleaded not guilty to aggravated assault, burglary, unlawful mischief, and resisting arrest. His father, Wayne, is charged with aggravated assault on protected officials, resisting arrest, impeding, and reckless endangerment. The mother, Amy, was given a citation for impeding and is ordered to appear in court in August.
A man is caught on camera leaping from the second floor of an apartment complex and running into an ambulance, and then driving off with it, as first responders were attending to a medical call. This is video from inside the emergency vehicle. Huntington police in West Virginia believe this is the suspect, Anthony Bell. Police say the ambulance crashed into a home and was abandoned. No one was hurt. But police are now looking for Bell. Anyone with information is asked to call police.
A mother testifies before Congress about a terrifying day.
Nothing could have prepared me for her response that she gave me next.
It started with a phone call to Jennifer DiStefano. On the other end, she hears her 15-year-old daughter, Bree, crying. They first told their story on Inside Edition in April.
She's like, "Mom, I messed up," as she's crying and sobbing.
Then a man gets on the line and claims he's kidnapped Bree.
He's like, "Listen here, I've got your daughter. You're not going to call anybody. You're not going to call the cops." I just put the phone on mute and started screaming for help. "Mom, these bad men have me. Help me, help me, help me."
They demanded $1 million, then lowered their ransom to $50,000. But her daughter had not been kidnapped. It was an artificial intelligence or AI scam. Phony kidnappers duplicated her daughter's voice using AI.
How did they get her voice? How did they get her crying, her sobs that are unique to her?
Berkeley professor Hanny Farage showed R. Allison Hall how it's done. The AI expert took examples of her real voice and cloned it.
I went over to YouTube and I searched for your name and I found an interview that you gave. It took me all of 5 seconds to do that. I uploaded that to a web service that I pay $5 a month for. In about 30 seconds, it cloned your voice. I typed what I wanted you to say, and it handed me an audio file back. That whole thing took me under 5 minutes to do.
So I have the recording that you made. I'm going to play it right now.
It's Allison. This is going to be hard to believe, but I've been kidnapped. They want $1 million ransom. Otherwise, they say they'll hurt me. I don't know what's going to happen. They want me to hang up now. I've got to go. I love you.
That's pretty creepy.
Fortunately, DiStefano was able to reach her daughter before paying the ransom.
I was in Flagstaff skiing with my little brother. My mom called me and she was crying, like bawling, crying.
Now this AI victim is going to Washington, warning the nation about the potential dangers of artificial intelligence.
When your child calls in need of help, will you end the call and say, "I don't believe it's really you"? Is this our new normal?
Do I look like a 7th grader? No? Cool. Awesome.
A 30-year-old woman was arrested after she impersonated her 13-year-old daughter at school.
Oh my goodness. I am gonna get so caught. I'm actually really scared now. I am literally on the campground of a middle school.
Casey Garcia donned a yellow Marvel hoodie and even dyed her hair darker in order to look more like her daughter, a student in 7th grade. Then she says using her daughter's student ID number, she went to school.
I then said hello to the principal, and then I spoke to another faculty member, and then I went to all my classes. I even ate lunch without a mask.
Garcia says teachers were more concerned about the fact that she had her phone out, and that it took until the last class of the day for someone to recognize she wasn't her daughter.
I wanted to see if I could make it the entire day without anybody noticing. And I'd say up until 7th period, I think that's a very long day for a 30-year-old.
On her YouTube channel, Garcia says she was not intending to embarrass the school,
Well, I finally got caught. I told them that I would go to the principal's office.
but to test campus security and shed light on a bigger issue.
We have a problem. There have been one too many mass shootings in schools, elementary schools, colleges, high schools. That is disgusting to think of, that this could have been prevented just by putting metal detectors and more security.
Yes, sir. How can I help?
El Paso County Sheriff's deputies arrested Garcia 2 days after she posted the video of her at school, an interaction that she also recorded and posted online.
What made you guys come down?
Oh,
Besides the viral video.
what they sent us to come. You have a traffic warrant, so that's why we're here, man.
Besides the unrelated traffic warrant, Casey Garcia was charged with suspicion of criminal trespassing and tampering with government records. She has been released after posting bond. In a statement to KTSM, the San Elizario Independent School District Superintendent said, while there was a breach in security by an individual associated as a parent with the school, we want to assure you that our security measures are being reviewed and evaluated. Casey Garcia also told KTSM, I spent the day in police custody, but my question still remains, are our children safe in our schools?
We need better security at our schools. This is what I tried to prove. And I don't mean to be curt, but I kind of feel like I proved it.
This is Inside Edition Digital. Powerful stories that change the way you think. Impactful investigations that change the way you see.
How many times has your car been stolen?
5 times.
Yeah. What? Do you think that you're a responsible owner of tigers?
I damn sure do.
Heartwarming moments that change the way you feel.
Amazing.
Now available in a place that changes the way you watch TV. Inside Edition, streaming.
A curator for a world-renowned museum was detained by authorities in Turkey on suspicion of smuggling venomous arachnids out of the country. Lorenzo Prendini is a curator at the Museum of Natural History in New York. His profile on the museum's website says he's a curator of the arachnid and myriapod collection. Reports say he was caught at an airport in Istanbul with plastic tubes and bags containing about 1,500 dead scorpions, tarantulas, and spiders that are endemic to the country. Some of these species produce venom that can be used to produce medication, according to state-run media. He was reportedly detained under the country's anti-smuggling laws. However, Prendini tells Inside Edition Digital he was cleared of all charges by a Turkish judge because he had the proper permits to leave the country with the specimens.
Another brazen shoplifting inside a Walgreens in San Francisco. Just look at the suspect's shameless thievery. He's actually behind the counter, filling his bag with loot, seemingly without a care in the world. Then, as he casually leaves, he knocks the cell phone out of a customer's hand, and the two go at it.
You want to go?
What happens next will shock you. It's a food fight. They literally go bananas at each other.
No.
The customer retaliates by throwing more bananas at the bad guy, hitting him in the back. There's more. This time, Chips Ahoy cookies are flung right at the suspect.
Hey, stop!
San Francisco-based photographer Nicholas Stennett shot the crazy video.
I definitely didn't anticipate a food fight in the middle of a Walgreens. Bananas flying, cookies flying. It's definitely a unique situation.
Hey! I don't think Santa Claus had theft in mind when he picked Rudolph to guide his sleigh on Christmas. Instead of dropping off presents at people's homes using the chimney, this red-nosed reindeer was stealing goods at a Colorado business, cops claim. The alleged crook, disguised as Santa's #1 helper, was caught on a security camera. At one point, the suspect removes the giant costume head, but eventually puts it back on. Police poked fun at the pillage, writing their own parody song to that famous Christmas tune.
Rudolph the red-nosed burglar had a very shady scheme, and if you saw the video, it would make you want to scream. All of the other burglars used to steal without disguise. They weren't like this old Rudolph. She's different from the other guys. On one foggy December eve, Rudolph came to steal. Broke into a hickory shop and never expected to see a cop. Oh, how the camera caught her as she committed burglary. Rudolph, the red-nosed criminal, we need your help with her ID.
This woman has just pleaded guilty to being the long-sought killer clown who murdered her rival 33 years ago.
My mother was gunned down, murdered by a clown.
In 1990, Marlene Warren answered the door of her home outside West Palm Beach to find a woman dressed as a clown delivering flowers and a balloon reading, "You're the greatest." Suddenly, the clown pulled out a gun and shot Marlene in the face before fleeing in this white convertible. The shooting was recreated for this 2020 story.
Mama, rest in peace.
Joseph Aarons was 21 when his mom was slain in front of him.
I heard, "Oh, how pretty," and then I heard bang.
Suspicion quickly fell on this woman, Sheila Keene. Police believed she was having an affair with Marlene's husband. Both denied any romantic relationship. No one was charged, and the case went cold. But detectives kept at it. They even unearthed this Halloween photo of the suspect in clown face. 12 years after the murder, to the shock of many, Marlene's widower, Michael Warren, married Sheila Keene.
A jealous mistress who wanted Michael Warren for herself. And then years later, they got married.
The Warrens moved to Virginia where they started a new life. Then, in 2017, she was arrested after her hair fiber was found in that getaway car. Now the case is finally over. Keene, now Keene Warren, has just pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. But as part of a plea deal, she may get out in 10 months due to time served. For the victim's son, it's enough.
We finally have closure. Now she can rest.
Imagine getting a phone call that someone has abducted a loved one and will kill them if you don't pay up. It happened to this woman who'd been told that her sister had been kidnapped. Well, it was a fake call, part of a growing new scam called virtual kidnapping. Lisa Guerrero has more.
It's a frightening call.
I was terrified that he was going to kill my sister.
This home surveillance footage shows Beth Royce on the phone with a man who claimed he had kidnapped her sister.
I'm here. Don't do me like this. I'm sorry.
She says what made it all seem so real is that the call came from her sister Kayla's phone number.
It looked exactly like she was calling me. I have a picture for her for the contact that popped up.
She says the caller demanded money or he'd kill her.
He was saying that I'm going to shoot your sister in the head.
He said he was going to shoot your sister in the head?
Those were his exact words. I heard crying in the background.
Panic-stricken, Beth, who lives in Pittsburgh, says she quickly transferred the kidnapper $1,000.
Okay, I'm going to pay you right now. It was the scariest moment of my life.
Beth's mother, Rosemarie.
She came rushing in my room, saying they've got Kayla.
Rosemarie called Kayla's cell phone. It was 4 a.m. in Seattle, where Kayla lives, but thankfully, she answered.
And I screamed. I said, "Oh my God, Mom, what is happening?" And she was like, "Beth is on the phone with somebody who says that they have you kidnapped." And I was like, "Well, they don't. It's me."
That's right. It was a sophisticated scam known as caller ID spoofing, in which scammers make it seem as if the incoming call is coming from someone on your private phone contact list.
I just started crying once I found out she was okay.
The next call she made was to the police. Beth's Ring camera captured the moment 2 officers arrived.
So this is Ring footage of the actual phone call that's happening.
They're called virtual kidnappings, and the FBI says they're on the rise. Listen to the call another woman got from a virtual kidnapper.
The life of your husband is in danger right now. You gonna help him or no?
He's in danger?
Of course, because my brother wants to kill him. Listen, sweetheart, your husband got a jaw fracture. He's bleeding.
Well, why are you hurting him?
Now Beth Royce is trying to get the word out.
I need to tell everyone about a really bad scam that I experienced today.
The FBI recommends if you do get one of those calls, among other things, ask to speak directly to your family member. And if they won't put them on the phone, get them to describe them or maybe the car they're driving. And try to keep them on the phone as long as possible.
5 years ago, it dominated the headlines. California mom Sherry Papini claiming she was abducted while jogging and held captive by 2 Hispanic women. But there have always been questions about her story, and now she's under arrest.
She made it all up. That's the bombshell allegation leveled today against Sherry Papini, the mom whose supposed kidnapping in 2016 as she jogged riveted America. Prosecutors now say Papini's headline-making story was fabricated. Sherry Papini was reported missing by her husband, Keith.
Bring her home safe. There's a $50,000 reward. Bring her home.
22 days later, on Thanksgiving Day 2016, she was found wandering, bruised, dazed, and branded. She claimed she'd been kidnapped at gunpoint while jogging by 2 Hispanic women. But now, cops say Papini faked the kidnapping. They say she arranged for an ex-boyfriend to pick her up while jogging and drive her 600 miles to his home in Costa Mesa, California. During the entire time the nation was looking for her, Papini never left the ex-boyfriend's residence, the criminal complaint says. According to authorities, the ex-boyfriend says Sherry Papini actually asked him to brand her. He says he drove to this Hobby Lobby and bought a craft tool like this. It looks like a soldering iron, and it's normally used to burn patterns into wood. He allegedly drove back to Sherry, heated the tool, and then branded her on her right shoulder with what is believed to be the word Exodus. To build up the evidence that she'd been kidnapped and tortured, Papini allegedly purposefully hit her head on the bathtub and the bathroom floor. After 3 weeks, Papini allegedly told the ex she missed her children and said, "I'm ready to go." He drove for 7 hours and dropped her off on a country road 150 miles from her home. The boyfriend has not been charged. I spoke today to the woman who saw Papini at the side of the road and called 911. How do you feel now when you see these allegations that this entire thing was made up?
Betrayed. If it's true, I'm angry.
Bobby Chacon is a former FBI agent.
Every woman in that region was afraid to go out, to go jogging, to go walking.
Private investigator Cody Salfan, who took part in the search, says Papini fooled so many people.
I feel for her family. I'm sure that Keith, her husband, I'm sure that there's a huge sense of betrayal.
A joint family statement issued today suggests Sherry and Keith Papini are still together. Sherry and Keith have cooperated with law enforcement's request despite repeated attempts to unnecessarily pit them against each other. The statement accused police of ambushing Sherry in a dramatic and unnecessary manner in front of her children.
The family claims Papini would have come to the police station voluntarily if she had been asked.
This hair-raising attempt at concealing drugs was thwarted by authorities in Colombia. They say 2 women tried the same stunt at 2 different airports in the country and were both nabbed. Police say when both women went through airport security, scanners showed foreign objects hidden in their big hairstyles. Authorities say the women were detained and submitted to voluntary scanning, where the images showed irregularities. Video of one of those searches was made public. It shows when airport security officers discovered a vial hidden in the suspect's hair extensions. Its contents were tested on the spot, and police say it was determined to be cocaine. That's when further searching revealed more tubes strategically attached to the woman's head. Colombian police say they seized nearly 2 kilos of cocaine from the women, who were both bound for Madrid, Spain.
Brazen thieves smash a glass door. But you may be surprised to hear what they're after. They broke into a veterinary hospital in Calabasas, California to steal, of all things, parrots. It's the latest crime spree terrifying pet owners. First, it was the French bulldog. We were told 2 of Lady Gaga's beloved pooches were abducted after her dog walker was shot in 2021. Now exotic birds are the new target.
They broke in the middle of the night, and they went straight for the birds.
Cody, Baby Love, and Sweetie were nabbed from Feed Barn in Dana Point, California. 2 men smashed through the front door of the pet supply store holding backpacks.
To be in and out of this store in 1 minute, they're familiar with birds. They know how to handle them.
So how much are they worth?
$10,000 to $15,000 for all 3.
The break-in here at the feed barn is one among a number of thefts of exotic birds across the country, having many people wondering if they're related as part of an organized crime ring. In Atlanta, cops arrested a guy suspected of stealing parrots from a local restaurant. The exotic creatures were found in his backyard.
Those look like macaws.
Are you fearful that you will never see these birds again?
I am fearful that I'll never see these birds again. Just bring them back. Like, we just want them back.
You had an Oreo cookie for the first time.
This little boy has just eaten his first Oreo cookie.
And then Blake.
So has his twin brother Blake.
An Oreo cookie for the first time.
Blake definitely enjoyed his Oreo, and the nice long bath, that came later.
Another internet challenge could get some people in a lot of trouble. The Suffolk County Police in New York released this video of people breaking through a fence in East Northport. They say the suspects are doing what is known as the Kool-Aid Man challenge. It's a challenge started and perpetuated by TikTokers that involves bursting through a wall or fence like the famous Kool-Aid Man did in those commercials for the sugary beverage in the 70s and 80s. But police say this is a crime, and now these suspects are wanted. Anyone with information can call Suffolk County Crime Stoppers at 1-800-220-TIPS.
I literally have to defend my turf now.
Sometime between midnight and 7 a.m., this California man's lawn was stolen. He told KCBS.
I got up in the morning and I was walking the dog, and the dog realized she had no place to go to the bathroom because it was gone.
In front of Brian Michael Stoller's Studio City townhouse, someone pulled up about 300 square feet of artificial turf. The lawn's value? Around $2,000.
It's not worth it to go through home insurance because it'll just raise our policy and stuff. But, you know, I've got a hammer and I've got nails.
Stoller says he has contacted police, but doesn't hold much hope for the return of the fake grass.
And it's probably going to end up not on the black market, but probably the green market.
He's chosen to laugh at the situation and share it with friends on social media, who all seem to be getting a kick out of the sod who walked off with the landscaping. There are cameras on the property, but none were trained on the plastic grass. Stoller says this time he wants to come up with a way to keep his lawn right where he put it.
We used to say if it's not nailed down, they'll steal it, but this was nailed down and they still stole it.
This trio is being sought and mocked for allegedly robbing a Popeyes restaurant. The Beaumont police in Texas released this video of what it calls 3 stooges who went slipping and sliding into a Popeyes with guns. While cops didn't say what the suspects took, it looks like they made their way to the back of the business and pulled things from a safe. Cops want to identify the 3 who are for now being referred to as Larry, Curly, and Mo. While their faces are covered, investigators are hoping someone will recognize them by their distinct clothing. The fall was probably embarrassing, but surely not as painful as this man, who, according to cops in Florida, broke into a Popeyes in Jacksonville several years ago. He seems to need a few moments to recover from the crash before he starts trying to pry open the registers.
A historic Southern California cemetery was looted for its metal. Lincoln Memorial Park in Carson was one of the first racially integrated cemeteries in Los Angeles County. Families have laid their loved ones to rest here since 1929.
As you can see, all of these plaques are gone.
Aisha Woods, a volunteer caretaker at Lincoln, told KCBS thieves have targeted the sacred space because of the bronze nameplates and statues.
I believe that they know a lot about metal because they took some type of liquid to take off some of the patina to see if it is bronze.
Bronze can hold value when sold for scrap metal and melted down, but these pieces of bronze also hold sentimental and historical value. The face of a memorial donated by boxer Joe Louis in 1944 was pried off. It was there for 79 years to honor black soldiers in World War II.
Now, Joe Louis in the Sentinel newspaper, as they described, was here too dedicated. We won't have that anymore.
Now the long, expensive journey to replacing those plaques and nameplates begins.
That's their name, that's their proof, and now this is gone because somebody wants metal, you know? That's heart-wrenching to me. As you can see, family members that just, they are doing their best, and they're replacing it with tape so they know, you know, and everybody know where they were.
Woods and her group of volunteers remain dedicated to the Lincoln Memorial Park, and authorities say they are investigating the crime.
The thought of someone even picking a cemetery to rob any type of metal or gain was utterly disgusting to me.
In the booming sport of pickleball, Rodney the Rocket Grubbs was a genuine celebrity.
Hey, Pickleball Nation, this is Rocket coming to you.
He held clinics across the USA. He was even named the sport's ultimate ambassador by USA Pickleball.
There were actually people that recommended him to be in the Pickleball Hall of Fame.
Today, however, these women are calling him the ultimate con man.
Shame on you, Rodney, for what you've done.
They enjoyed playing pickleball at the Villages in Florida, the nation's largest retirement community. But they all say they were swindled by Grubbs.
I invested $25,000.
I invested $25,000.
I also invested $25,000.
Jennifer Butler says she was taken for about $100,000.
I lent him money 4 times.
Grubbs' pickleball company called Pickleball Rocks sold equipment like nets and paddles. He reportedly got 136 people to invest their savings into the company, and he raised untold millions of dollars from people, many of them elderly, who wanted to get in on the pickleball craze.
That approach really worked for me because I want to spread the pickleball love just like all of us do.
Did he give all of you that song and dance that, hey, there's only a limited amount of spots here?
Yes. Absolutely.
They claim they were promised an 18% return.
There are some people that he actually has their entire life savings. They invested with him, and their entire life is ruined.
Jackie Voss says all she got out of her investment was a T-shirt that Grubbs gave her husband.
I told my husband, I said, well, enjoy that $25,000 T-shirt because that's exactly what that shirt cost us.
Hope I haven't lost my stroke.
Grubbs has not been charged with any crime or securities violations, but he did just receive a cease and desist order from the Indiana Secretary of State, alleging that he committed securities fraud by selling unregistered investment opportunities.
Want you now to meet Donna and Scott. Now, Donna has been helping Scott pursue his secret crush on John.
Jenny Jones was one of many daytime talk show hosts in the 90s that had viewers tuning in to watch ordinary people reveal their deepest, darkest secrets. But one of those revelations would turn deadly.
Ma'am, I think I just got a man.
Okay, calm down, okay? Okay, why did you do that?
In 1995, The Jenny Jones Show taped an episode on secret admirers. 32-year-old Scott Amador revealed he had a crush on an acquaintance, 24-year-old Jonathan Schmitz. The show brought the two together to see if there was a love connection.
Well, guess what? It's Scott that has the crush on you.
You lied to me.
The audience erupted in excitement, and a surprised Schmitz, while caught off guard, seemed to find humor in the moment.
Did you have any idea that he liked you this much?
No, I did not.
Can you tell us what your status is? Are you involved with anybody, or?
No, but I am definitely heterosexual, I guess you could say.
But the laughter faded 3 days later.
Last Thursday, 32-year-old Scott Amador was killed after receiving 2 shotgun blasts to the chest. The alleged perpetrator of this vicious crime was an acquaintance of his, 24-year-old Jonathan Schmitz.
Schmitz called 911 to turn himself in after he showed up at Amador's home and shot him to death. Schmitz claimed he was humiliated by having been brought on national TV to hear Amador profess affection for him. The feelings, he said, were not mutual.
He said, he's gay, but I'm not. He said, he wouldn't leave me alone, that's why I did it. He said, I went on the Jenny Jones show. I didn't know it was a guy, that's why I killed him.
But the trial also called into question the ethics of tabloid talk shows, which were in their prime. Critics claimed their so-called deceptive practices and sensationalized style were to blame for this tragedy.
The Jenny Jones show ambushed this defendant with humiliation, and in retaliation, this defendant ambushed the victim with a shotgun.
This is a renegade business. These are irresponsible people. These are people beholden, answerable to no one.
The show never aired the Amador Schmitz episode, and Jenny Jones appealed to the public not to place blame on anyone but the shooter.
As much as we all regret what happened, the fact is that this tragedy is about the actions of one individual.
But Scott Amador's family took the show to task, suing for negligence. Like the show, the trial also gripped viewers who tuned in to watch the family's attorney take aim at the host on the stand in an intense exchange.
You used him as a source of entertainment, having no idea what his emotions would be for other people, didn't you?
No, that's not the way I see it. I don't use people on the show.
It's my understanding you have reached a verdict. Is that correct?
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
Was the defendant's negligence a proximate cause of injuries or damage to the plaintiff? How do you answer, yes or no?
Yes.
The Jenny Jones show was ordered to pay the Amador family $25 million, but the decision was overturned by the Court of Appeals. Jonathan Schmitz was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 25 to 50 years in prison. After serving just more than 20 years behind bars, he was granted parole. Schmitz walked out of prison this week. The Jenny Jones show ran until 2003 for well over 1,000 episodes. But its most famous episode was one that never made it to air.
The accusations are sickening. This little girl has spent her entire life in and out of the hospital, hooked up to tubes and monitors, being told she was deathly ill.
I love you, Mommy.
Now her mother, Pamela Reed, is under arrest after cops say she admitted to faking her daughter's illnesses to collect money. It's reminding many of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, a victim of Munchausen syndrome by proxy, a condition in which her mother faked her illness to get attention. Gypsy Rose was just freed from prison after serving 8 years for the murder of her abusive mother. In the case of young Addie Ray, cops in Ohio say Pamela Reed lied to everyone, claiming her daughter suffered from leukemia, seizures, and was blind in her right eye. Reed even created a Facebook page asking for donations with this moving tribute of little Addie's medical triumphs and setbacks. Cops say the deranged scheme was uncovered by a school nurse who contacted authorities. I spoke to prosecutor Jordan Croucher.
Thank goodness this poor child doesn't have cancer, but then that quickly pivots to a very in-depth and thorough investigation.
Here's where the story takes an even stranger turn. Pam Reed is not Addie's biological mother. This woman is.
I am her biological mother.
I spoke to Shadow Peterson today. She says while caring for Addie as an infant, she battled drug addiction.
At the time, Pam was my best friend, my go-to person. I signed Addie over to Pam so she would be safe.
While in rehab, she was told that Addie had cancer. All of it was made up.
Yeah. Yep.
Shadow has kicked drugs years ago and is now an EMT. What would you like to say to Pam today?
Like, I trusted you to take care of my kid. Come to find out you're the one making her sick. I just don't see how you could ever do this to somebody's kid.
Might you try to adopt her back?
I'm going to try. I'm going to try my hardest. I'm not going to stop fighting.
Powerful stories that change the way you think. Impactful investigations that change the way you see.
How many times has your car been stolen?
5 times.
Yeah. What? Do you think that you're a responsible owner of tigers?
I damn sure do.
Heartwarming moments that change the way you feel.
I feel amazing.
Now available in a place that changes the way you watch TV. Inside Edition.